Thank you all for taking the time to come to the Ag Advantage Student Support webinar. This is a new series that we just started this fall semester and will continue into the spring, and hopefully we'll continue it for more years to come. This is just a webinar we put together to let students know about the great resources we have available to you. And this webinar will be recorded and posted, and I will show that where you can find that information after the webinar is complete. Tonight, we're going to hear from the Student Money Management Center with Aggie Basurdo and our scholarship office with Jessica Prettyman. And I'll have them give a little bit of an introduction of themselves. As a reminder, at the end of the webinar, we will be doing a drawing for a $25 gift card. And if you have any questions at the bottom of the Zoom, there's a Q&A. You're welcome to throw your questions in there. And Addie and Jessica, do you guys prefer we wait until the end of the webinar? Are you okay to be interrupted? Okay. All right. Well, we'll catch those as they come in. Then if you guys have questions as they're presenting. So I'll go ahead and turn the time over to Addie and Jessica.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Addie, and I work on the Logan campus in the Student Financial Support Office. I'm the Assistant Director of Marketing and Outreach, so I really help to get our services out there to students. And yeah, so that's what I'll be presenting on specifically today, and I'll let Jessica introduce herself before we get started.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica. I'm based down here on the Price campus, and I help students with scholarship questions. Any scholarship outside of the Logan campus is managed by me and my team. So any questions you guys might have, feel free to reach out to us.
Great. All right. So let me share my screen. All right. That's this bigger. Great. Can you see the screen okay? Perfect. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, I work in student financial support, and student financial support about 2 years ago merged what was formerly 3 separate offices, which was scholarships, financial aid, and student money management center. So even though we're the same department, those are like the 3 main service areas we serve. And so today I'll primarily focus on the student money management center, but I'll definitely touch on scholarships and federal aid, and so will Jessica, just to show you how they all work together, how you can access them all to really just help you navigate paying for college. So the Student Money Management Center, the center is technically located on Logan campus, but we have 5 financial coaches. That 7 should be 5. So we have 3. One is in Blanding, 1 is in Eastern, and we have 2 in Logan, and 1 is completely virtual. So here are the 5 of them. And all 5 of them do Zoom appointments. So no matter where you're located, you can meet with a financial coach. But if you are close to the Logan campus, Blanding campus, or Eastern, then you're welcome to go meet in person with a financial coach. And so our coaches, what they really do is they sit down with students one-on-one to help you create a plan to pay for college. So they look into your account, they look at your charges, they look at what aid, if any, that you have. They'll write down any other expenses outside of college, any other income or savings that you may or may not have. Whatever your financial situation is, they sit down with you and they really just help you figure out how to pay for college so that you can afford college and just life in general. And so all students are highly encouraged to meet with a financial coach. We in the student financial support have, our marketing is really our main message is for students to complete these 3 steps. Number 1, complete the FAFSA, apply for scholarships, and meet with the financial coach. And even though this is our suggested order of steps, you don't have to complete the steps in this order. Just if you're unsure about the FAFSA, if you don't have any scholarships or, you know, that just doesn't apply to you, we still highly encourage you to meet with a financial coach, because like I mentioned earlier, they sit down and they really help you optimize whatever resources you already are using, or they might introduce you to resources that you don't know that you might be able to benefit from. So that's our suggested order of steps, but again, you can complete them as you are able to. And so meeting with a financial coach is free. It's part of your student fees. You know, you're already paying for it through what you're paying for school. So why not take advantage of it, right? And like I said, they'll sit down with you. They'll look at your specific account. They'll use this information to help you allocate your resources, how to pay for college, how to pay for your personal expenses. And then they'll help you brainstorm ways to either increase your income or reduce your expenses. And that might be improving your spending habits, or that might be, you know, maybe I can get a part-time job, whatever that means for you. They'll sit down and help brainstorm ways that you can basically maximize your financial situation. And so when you meet with the financial coach, they have this budgeting plan, and it's accessible online, and I'll show you during the session where you can find that. But basically, they'll sit down with you and list out any kind of financial expense that you have in your life. And in this example, you'll see that the student came in, they sat down and they went through all of the expenses. And by January, that means that they were going to be, you know, negative, and that's with student loan. So basically, this student needs to kind of start thinking about long-term how they're going to be paying for spring, because as the way it looks right now, based on what their current expenses are, then they're going to have a lot of trouble paying for school in spring. And so through this, they start brainstorming like, well, what if you got a $14 job instead of that $8 one that you had? Oh, where'd my mouse go? And your second job changed to a 12-hour job instead of a $9 job. How would that impact your finances? And so you see, that's kind of where the brainstorming begins. The negative goes down significantly. From there, they said, well, what if you went from living on campus to potentially renting off campus? What would that look like for you? And in this particular example, that helps out their situation in the long run. And from there, they went, well, what if we changed your entertainment spending, you know, from going from $100 a month and maybe shopping to $15 a month. And so it's just these kinds of conversations that financial coaches will have with you. Our student demographic varies. You know, we have 18-year-olds who are still dependent on their parents. We have older graduate students who have a family and work full time. So it doesn't matter what your situation is, they will accommodate this conversation and this financial plan to your needs. And so ultimately, in this particular example, they were able to find a way to get the student out of the negative and be able to stay afloat with their finances come spring. So that's what a financial coach will do. They'll sit down with you and they'll really just advise you and coach you on what's going on financially. The reason why we suggest that you submit the FAFSA is for these reasons. And I'll just go over it a little bit, but I think that when it comes to the FAFSA, there's so many reasons as to why people don't submit them, and they vary. Some might be, well, I heard that it's only for loans, or I already know my parents make too much money, or it just, you know, fill in the blanks, whatever you might think. Why, if there's something that's stopping you from submitting the FAFSA, here's like the basic information about it. It basically determines if you're eligible for grants, work study, or loans. Grant is free money from the federal government. And while the vast majority might be based on what your need is, there have been times where the government has released funds that just have gone to students who have a FAFSA on file. So that's like just free money. Work study is also a federal program that basically allows you to earn money that can go towards your educational expenses, and really any expense, because it comes in as like a paycheck. And then loans. So there's federal loans that they'll let you know what federal loans you're eligible for. You can apply and receive help applying on our website. And like I mentioned, I'll go on our website and show you where you can find your federal aid counselor and how to get help. But if filling out the FAFSA application itself overwhelms you, that's okay. Our staff will literally sit with you, whether that's via Zoom or in person or over the phone, and walk you through the application so that, if you're unsure of like how to answer different questions, they'll give you that advice. The FAFSA does need to be completed every year. So it's based on academic year. So it's from fall through summer. So like, for example, the 23-24 FAFSA it applies to fall 2023, spring 2024, and summer 2024. So that needs to be applied for every year. And then worst case scenario when it comes to the FAFSA is you don't get any aid, but it's kind of like a nice little backup resource to have, because in the event that you have some sort of emergency where you can appeal, or like just something drastically changes that might make you eligible for aid, well, they already have your FAFSA on file. So it's easier to get you any aid, whether that's grants or loans, quicker, versus having to go through the application process, wait a couple of weeks for that to process, and move forward. So like I mentioned, it's more than just federal aid. It's a good backup resource in the event of a financial emergency. It increases the number of scholarship matches, and Jessica will explain more on that. So, and then lastly, it expands your on-campus job opportunities, if that's something you're interested in, just because there are quite a few on-campus jobs that require that you have work study. And in order to get work study, you have to submit the FAFSA. So just if there's one thing you can remember is if you have any hesitation to submit the FAFSA, meet with one of our federal aid counselors and let's work through that so that you can really determine whether it's worth you submitting a FAFSA. And then scholarships. So I'll just introduce it, and then Jessica will show you a demo. But USU, we use a USU General Scholarship, and we use it through a third-party software. And so what that does is it allows us to house our USU-specific scholarships, and it also allows us to pull in private scholarship applications from outside. So that's where you can think of like the Coca-Cola applications, if you're right-handed applications, like those types of scholarships that are just, I heard that there's this kind of scholarship. Well, USU might not offer that kind of random characteristic scholarship, but a private company might. And so what our scholarship application does is it vets the validity of these external applications, just because unfortunately there are scam scholarship applications out there. So as a student, you already have an a profile. So I'll stop sharing. And are there any questions in the meantime while Jessica gets set up? Oh, is it?
There is one. Addie, do you see it?
What suggestions do you have about how students can prepare for an internship? So I know that there was a conversation recently about an internship through a particular program. So I'll type in the person you'll want to email, Daryl. Can I do that through here? I'll put it in the chat. because this is not letting me type. So Daryl Harris, he's the director of the Student Money Management Center. And I know that he is open to the idea of internships. I don't know logistically what he needs for that to happen, but he'll be your best point of contact to learn more. So let me. There we go. So I put it in the regular chat, not in the Q&A chat.
Okay, are we ready to play around in some Scholarship Universe, guys? Okay, so the first time you log into Scholarship Universe, you're going to need your A number and you're going to need your password. It's going to give you a disclaimer like this is the terms and conditions. It's also going to give you the opportunity to put in your cell phone number so you can get text messages and updates on if you've been awarded a scholarship, if a scholarship is getting ready to close but you haven't applied for the scholarship yet. And it's just a good way to keep in communication with different award opportunities through Scholarship Universe. After you've logged in, it's actually going to launch you directly into scholarship questions. So, oh, I pushed the wrong button. So as you're answering questions, the scholarship is going to match you to different, or the program is going to match you to different scholarships that you qualify for. So I encourage everyone to go in and they're going to just start answering questions. The biggest catch about this is when you answer the question, make sure it gives you the green check mark in the save box, because sometimes it's not going to save it. You're going to move faster than the program can move. And then you end up feeling like you're answering the same questions over and over and over and over. But as you answer more questions, you're going to match to scholarships over here. The way that this program works is the matches are scholarships that based off of the answers you've provided, you qualify for this scholarship. I'm going in, I'm answering fake questions right now as just a bachelor's degree seeking student. Most of this stuff is going to be filled in for you by the student banner system, and it's going to tell you, or it's going to be filled in for you, so you don't have to answer it yourself. Let's do that one. And then as you answer more questions, your matches here are going to change, and sometimes it'll go up and sometimes it'll go down. If you kind of get drained on answering the questions, because sometimes it feels like they never stop, you can go back to your dashboard, and your dashboard right here will actually tell you how many scholarships that I might qualify for, but I haven't answered all the questions yet, scholarships that I currently qualify for because of the answers that I've already provided, and my application progress with it, where I'm at within those scholarships. And then it also helps with this funnel right here. It kind of tells you where you're at and what the status is for those scholarships that you've applied for. It also tracks scholarship applications of ones that you can do, ones that you've already started, and ones that you've already submitted. So if you ever get lost and you're not sure where you've been and what you still need to do, the system will help you track all of that stuff. The fun stuff within Scholarship Universe is on this scholarship tab. These matches scholarships are scholarships that I qualify for based off of the answers I've already provided to the system. Under organization, we have this filtered in by campuses and then by the departments. And so you'll see here right now, we're seeing a whole bunch of USU Eastern scholarships. They are actually getting ready to open up some spring semester only scholarships. And so that's what we're seeing right now. We have external scholarships as well. These are scholarships that based off of your answers you qualify for from the third party company that is providing this scholarship. With this scholarship, you can click on this pin button to say, hey, I want to keep this in mind. I don't want to lose it. So in the future, you can find it again. This little graph button is my favorite button right here. It tells you how many people have already submitted applications, how many people are interested in it, and how many people said, no thanks, don't show me this again. If you don't want to see it again, it's a scholarship that you're not interested in or you know you don't qualify for, you hit this little circle with the line through it and it'll actually move it up here onto your not interested bar. Oops, I pushed the wrong button. And then that way, if you change your mind and you're like, oh, never mind, I want to do this instead, you have that option for you right there. If you want to learn more about it, you can hit this view button and it'll give you information about the scholarship. It'll tell you what answers you provided in order to qualify for the scholarship, and it'll give you the eligibility information to qualify for the scholarship. If you're like, yep, this fits me, it makes a lot of sense, I want to move forward with this, hit this apply button. It's going to give you this third party or this warning that you're going to a third party site. You hit OK, and it will actually take you to the website's application page directly. And so that way you're not hunting around on their website to find the information you need to find. It's right here for you. You can go through, read more about it. Sometimes they give you like, I need a 5-minute video, and it'll tell you here, right here on the page, what you need to do in order to apply for it. And it takes you through the different steps and different requirements that they have. And then if you did apply for it, you hit that little check mark. You can say, I've applied for it, and tell it what day you applied for the scholarship. You can say, I'm going to apply, or you're not going to apply. If you click on a link that takes you to a third-party scholarship, I highly encourage you to answer this checkmark box, because the system will email you over and over and over until the deadline has passed saying, hey, you're missing a scholarship opportunity. Hey, go back in and finish this thing. And I have received a lot of emails from the system because I forgot to go back in and do this in other demonstrations. And it'll ask you to give you more information about like why and stuff like that. And so I encourage you to go in there so that way you don't get overloaded with applications that you really didn't want to submit in the first place.
Jessica,
Yes.
we do have a couple of questions. Are you okay to?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
One was with the changes to FAFSA in December instead of October. Should they wait to apply for scholarships until after the FAFSA is open in December or submitted it in some December, or should they go ahead and apply for scholarships now?
I would start going and applying for scholarships now because the information updates every night from your student banner system. So right now we're actually pulling in the most current information available to us. And so if the FAFSA information that we're pulling in is for what is available through the FAFSA system now, when that application comes available and the information is updated, the system will automatically update. I don't want you guys to lose out on some of these scholarships. Like this is a $5,000 scholarship that closes at the end of the month. FAFSA is not going to open up in time for you guys to qualify for this scholarship. And so I encourage everybody to go in there now. I also encourage you to come in and check it maybe once every 2 weeks-ish or so, because more scholarships open up every day. If you look on your dashboard, it'll actually tell you how many scholarships are opening up in the future. And so I don't want you guys to miss out on those opportunities because you're waiting for something else that's outside of your control. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, you kind of answered it, but when do spring specific scholarships become available?
So it depends on the campus that you're attending at. And so you can actually do a search. The way that we've set it up for our USU scholarships, you can do a search for the specific campus that you're attending. Not all campuses are opening up spring semester scholarships. I know USU Eastern is. I think Southwest is. And I think Moab might have a couple or two. The other ones, and I know Wasatch has some spring semester scholarships too. So if you're curious about USU specific scholarships for your campus, do a search in the box up here to find those specific scholarships. If you're curious about a scholarship for a single mom, it will come up with the different word. The word that you put in the search is the word that it'll search for in the box. And so like if I'm looking for single moms, it's still going to pull up my single parent stuff as well. So I see a question. I don't know how to get to the questions. Can students meet with scholarship mentors at USU? Yes. So students are able to meet with me and my team on a USU page under the student supports. if you go to the student financial support websites for any of your guys' websites, whatever campus you're on, and Addie's going to show you this too, but I'm going to focus specifically on the scholarship page. You scroll down here and you hit scholarships, and it's actually right here. You can schedule an appointment with me and my team. You can call us directly, or you can send us an email asking questions as well. And we have appointments out and available to meet with students and answer questions one-on-one for you guys as well. So yes, that is a possibility. How likely is it to get external scholarships since they are open to so many students? You know what? I don't know the answer to that. They haven't given us the statistics on that. And so I don't know if that's something that the Scholarship Universe program releases to colleges and information like that. But that's why I highly encourage you to look at the graph that comes with it, because sometimes you might want to be like, yeah, this is worth the chance and kind of a gamble. And other times you're like, no, this is too many kids and the money is just not worth the time that it's going to take to get it. Other times they might want you to do a 20-minute video recording yourself, and all that time editing and making yourself look good on the video, and that might not be worth the $1,000 that they're asking you to do, but it might be worth the $5,000 that you're asking to do. I mean, it could take you an hour to fill out a scholarship and you get $1,000, and in that hour, it might be worth doing. Kaylee, I see that you're raising your hand, but I don't know how to work the system.
I unmuted her, so if she wants to
Okay,
speak, Kaylee,
go ahead.
you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm sorry. I just barely got on the.
Oh, we lost you.
Kaylee.
Can you
there
hear me?
go. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm a student at USU. I'm trying to do scholarships, and I was wondering if you could like put in the link to like the website in like one of the boxes, or like send it to me or something to go to
Yes,
the website.
I will drop it into the chat right now.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I
Yep.
just barely got on the call. My phone was
No, you are just fine. I completely understand.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay, so we were talking about the success of external scholarships. Did I answer that question? I feel like we're good on that one. If not, let me know and we'll go back over it again. And then I showed you guys how to make appointments with the team and stuff like that. So do we have any other questions before I keep going? Or are we feeling good? Okay, I'm going to keep going because I think my favorite part is the My Documents section. So with external scholarships, 9 times out of 10, the company wants you to answer an essay. And usually the essay is almost the exact same question, just worded slightly different. And so my favorite thing is to upload a document which will give you this information. You can copy and paste it to the external website's application, and so that way you're not typing the same thing over and over and over and over. You can also link yourself to a live Google document, and then that way you can copy and paste that same document or that same thing, and you can go in and tweak the scholarship essay to the specific things that they are asking you to do. So usually essays always ask you, or the scholarship always asks you to describe yourself and who you are, but then it also asks a very key prompt, tell us about X kind of a situation. That is where I encourage you to come in and make those minor tweaks and minor edits for that specific scholarship. Copy, paste it into the scholarship application. And then that way you're not typing the exact same story over and over again. You're just making minor tweaks and minor details to that specific to that application, and helps you with that specific application. Okay. When you are awarded a scholarship, you'll see anything that's outstanding that needs you to go in and accept. You'll see it right here. And any prior scholarships that you may have received, you'll see from right here. This will also show you what the terms and conditions are for the scholarship. So how many credit hours you need to be registered for, whether or not the scholarship is a tuition and fees only scholarship versus what we call a cash award. Cash awards are scholarships that will pay on the balance for your account, and if there's any funding left over, it might refund back to you. And so tuition and fee only versus cash awards make a big difference on some students' accounts as well. Trying to make sure I've hit everything. Does anybody have any other questions, or are we feeling good about this? Okay, as a reminder, you can always just go to our website, schedule a Zoom phone call, or if you guys are ever in Price or coming down for a trip through to Moab or something like that, feel free to schedule a face-to-face appointment with us in the Price office as well. Okay. Okay, that covers everything for me. Oh, no, my computer wants to go to sleep. And that covers Scholarship Universe.
Let me unmute myself. All right, so this is just kind of like our last bit of scholarship advice, which Jessica touched on for the most part. So those questions in your profile, we encourage you to review and update your scholarship profile every year, because that'll change, what you're eligible every year. And just kind of going back to the FAFSA and scholarship questions, any scholarship that would require the FAFSA, they're aware about the changes and the delay with FAFSA. So definitely don't let that stop you. And our suggestion is, every week go on, maybe dedicate an hour or two to submitting to any newly posted scholarships. The USU specific scholarships that are available just to USU students tend to be open November, December to like January, February as like the prime time. But the rest of the year, that's when all those private scholarships are coming through. So it's definitely an ongoing process. So even though we have this like messaging of like steps, it's definitely an ongoing thing. The FAFSA is probably the one thing that's just, you just do it once a year and you're done. As far as the financial coaches, some students might meet with the coach once a year, some come back as things change, or some like to meet once a semester, whatever feels right for you. And then a lot of scholarships require you to accept them. So always remember to just keep an eye on your email and any communication you get, because if you don't accept it, then they just might go and award it to somebody else, and then the funds go away. So there's no more funds to release if they weren't accepted by the deadline. So if you have any scholarship questions, you can scan that QR code. And the statewide scholarships at usu.edu goes to Jessica's team. So great resource there. And then just all students are encouraged to meet with the financial coach. It's a very comprehensive meeting that will really give you a lot of assistance and support to just figure out how to make financial decisions. So I'll stop sharing this and I'll go on our website real quick just to show you. All right, give me 1 second. I'm having technical difficulties. There we go. Okay. So this is the financial support website. As Jessica mentioned, there are campus specific sites that are similar, very similar. Like you'll look at the layout and you might think you're on the same one. It really doesn't matter. Whoever you contact, they're going to get you to the right person. So the website is usu.edu/financial-support. You'll see here we've re-emphasized the 3 steps. The contact page is where you'll go to get any assistance. So if you're statewide, you're here, but either way, you're welcome to make an appointment through this appointment button. It'll bring you to the staff at the Logan campus, but we serve everyone. So please don't let that ever make you feel like you have to go to statewide for whatever reason, wherever you end up, you're going to get the right help because we all do the trainings together. So don't let that differentiation in website feel like you might not be the right student for where you're going. So anyway, here you make an appointment. We use Calendly. So just depending on where you want to go, it'll route you to the right person. If you scroll down, every single person has a federal aid counselor. So they help with all things FAFSA, student loans, work study grants. And it's based on your college or your department. So whatever your major is, that's how it'll filter you to who you belong to. Here's their pictures, their contact information. If you want to meet, schedule an appointment with them, and you can meet with them via Zoom, over the phone, or in person. And so this is our page. If you need to email anything, if you submitted a FAFSA or our office requested some sort of secure document, here's where you can submit that, our phone number. And so on our homepage, in addition to the 3 main steps, there's different resources down here. So if you're a Native American student, if you're interested in studying abroad, there's State of Utah programs. So those are State of Utah. So the State of Utah has different programs that provide educational assistance. So you can go through them and see if they apply to you. If you're interested in attending a summer semester and you're curious about summer aid, for undocumented students, and then workforce services. So that's the Utah Department of Workforce Service. They do provide some funding to students who are in their last 2 years of completing their degree. And so you can click here and learn more and learn about their application process and the different resources that they offer. So definitely these three steps are going to be a great starting point to navigating like how to pay for college. And from there on out, there's these additional ones. But usually if you're doing these 3, then you're in pretty good shape. Because like even like paying studying abroad, like we've had students come in and, they're trying to figure out how they're going to afford that and how to plan for that. And it can be such a daunting expense. So yeah, that's who we are. Any questions?
I'm not seeing anything come through right now, but I just want to thank Jessica and Addie for presenting tonight. This is really wonderful information. I hope the students that are here will really take advantage of it. I especially love that we have such great support for scholarships and financial coaches, and especially that one-on-one is just amazing. I don't know of any other school that does that kind of budgeting with students, but I just think it's pretty cool. So I don't see anything else coming through. So I just want to share quickly where to find the recording of this, as well as where you'll find information about the future student support webinars coming up. So if you go to statewide.usu.edu, any of your campus pages will also have this as well. So if you live in Moab, it's moab.usu.edu, but this is the central statewide. Go to the student support tab at the top and then scroll down to the student support webinars. Click on it. And this is where you obviously went to register, but we also will put the recording here for tonight. And then if you missed last month's, we talked about career design and student research internships. That recording is there, as well as if you need to connect with the career design web center, their information is there. And then next month, we're going to be visiting with the Veterans Resource Office. So we're excited to have them join us to let us know what services we have for our military and veterans. So really another cool opportunity. And now the time for the $25 gift card. I'm going
Jenna,
to,
we had a
yes.
question come in.
Oh, yes, you did. Thank you.
It says, what is one tip from each of you for succeeding financially? My personal experience for succeeding financially is at least try. If you talk yourself out of trying for something, if you talk yourself out of applying for that job because you don't hit that one specific thing, or if you talk yourself out of applying for that scholarship because you meet most of what they're looking for, but not everything, you're shutting the door before the door even had the opportunity to open. So you at least try. Addie?
Yeah, and for me, I would say is asking for help. I feel like sometimes I can get so independent where I'm like, for whatever reason, I'm hesitating to ask for help. And I'm like, I feel like I should know this or whatever. And I kind of just place that barrier upon myself. For me, it's been just really taking advantage of like whatever resources there are. So as a student, even as a professional, like I think it took me a very, very long time before I actually started reaching out to like the different retirement providers that we have and like actually taking them up on their one-on-ones. For the longest time, I just didn't do that. And yeah, it's just reminding myself that like I don't have to figure it all out on my own. I can ask for help. And so like people work full time just to help for this. So that's my advice that has helped me succeed financially.
And I'll just give my advice if anybody cares, but I would just say what Jessica said about going in and checking on a regular basis for those scholarships. Just because you apply once doesn't mean that there's 20 others getting added within the next few weeks. So just keep going in and checking on that on a regular basis. And Kaylee, did you have another question?
Yes, I do. Do you know when the scholarships start? Like, do you know when they start?
So the scholarships at USU for 24-25, most of them are going to open November 1st. Those are the deadlines that I'm working with most statewide campus administration right now is November 1st. It depends on what campus you're at. I know UNA Basin pushes theirs back a little bit. They don't open until February. And so it really depends on the campus location. But for the USU majority, you want to start going in really heavy November 1st and start answering all those questions. Because even though you're a statewide student, you're going to qualify for Logan campus scholarships as well. Like you're not excluded from them because you're not on the Logan campus. I have several students across the state who have gotten Logan specific scholarships that reach out and ask me for help all the time to make sure that they are meeting the requirements and the minimum stuff for it. And so go in and start applying. 23-24 scholarships, most of them are closed within the USU system. I do have some sites, some of the campuses that are opening up their scholarships for spring semester. There are just not as many spring scholarships as there are fall scholarships. So just a heads up.
Thank you so much.
And then there's another question. What makes a good scholarship essay? What do they look for in applicants?
So when I talk with scholarship reviewers, they are looking at somebody who knows how to write well, because you're in college, and so they expect you to be able to like formulate sentences and structure the sentences well and stuff like that. You'll be surprised at some of the scholarship essays that I've seen come through, and the reviewers are like, why did I even see this? Just because the student didn't take the time to format the scholarship essay in a well format, and they didn't pay attention to their grammar, and they used there instead of there, or two and two kind of a thing. So pay attention to those minor details. Oh, I totally forgot to talk to you guys about donor thank you letters. Let's talk about donor thank you letters as well, because they pay attention to those things as well. So scholarship reviewers, they're looking for people who are answering the prompts, answering the question. Did you answer the question? Did you answer the question well? Did you structure the sentence in a well way as you were answering the questions? So stuff like that. So be aware of what the essay is asking or what the question is asking while you're writing your essay. On that same note, scholarship donors are providing these scholarships for you. USU raises millions of dollars every year from donors for scholarships, for new buildings, for whatever it is that the donor wants to do with their money. And donors want to know who are receiving their scholarships. So when you're writing your scholarship thank you letters, you tell the donor who you are. Tell them what you're majoring in. Tell them about your family members. Tell them what your hobbies are. Donors like to know those personal connection stories. They like to know that you like to go horseback riding or that you go hiking every Saturday up in the mountains and stuff like that. Those personal connections are what the donors want to know, and that helps them, or well, not helps them, it encourages them to give more money, which helps future students get more scholarship opportunities. So be very aware of what your scholarship essay is asking for. Structure your sentences well. Be aware of your grammar. And then tell the donors your story because they want to know what your story is. Okay? I see Eric's hand is raised.
Yeah, I think I answered it. Jessica also put in the chat. He wanted to know where to apply for the scholarships. So, I answered him, but also it's also in the chat. So hopefully you can see that. All right. Anything else? Okay. All right. So now for the $25 gift card, I'm going to randomly select a student. And I'm going to put my email address in the chat. And I'll need you to email me. We have the choice of a $25 gift card to Amazon or to the USU campus stores. So that's the email address to let me know what you prefer. And I'm going to now select Jessica Hale. You are the winner of tonight's gift card. So please email me and we'll get that sent out to you. Is there anything else before we close for the night? All right. Well, thank you everybody for attending. We appreciate it. Taking your time for this but I think it's really important and really great information tonight. So thanks again.